Welcome from Navy Gold Coast, San Diego, California. A little less humid today and a little nicer inside, although there's not as many people as normal, and that's a little disappointing today. But we're going to make the best of it. We have a very, very special guest, very long time friend and business associate who's got a story to tell, and I'm excited to hear it. And I will have Annette introduce herself as I generally do. But one thing I want to position us for again, as we get into really extrapolating golden nuggets out of this interview, what can you do and what can you hear that Annette's going to share that you could either duplicate or create some sort of a facsimile for or prototype for, that where she's going to share both her 8A experience, her woman-owned small business experience, and how that may relate to what you're doing in your business and how you may be able to actually duplicate that process and have similar results. So it's a very challenging business that we're in, as we have repeatedly made mention of, and Annette's going to address that. So without any further ado, let's get going on our fifth podcast at Navy Gold Coast, and we have the pleasure of having Annette on. Annette, would you introduce yourself, please?
Absolutely.
And
Thank
a little
you.
bit about you.
Thank you so much. I'm Annette Palazuelos. I'm the president and CEO of Tridant Solutions. We've been in business since about 2005. We are a federal contractor. We do business with the Army, the Navy, done business with the Air Force, the Department of Homeland Security, CDC. We're in about 14 different states across the country. So we have a lot of capability, and we also have a lot of different certifications as well. And we are always looking to grow. We're here at the Navy Gold Coast to meet new people and touch base with new friends or older friends that we've known for a long time. So I'm really happy to be here, and thank you so much.
And we're happy to have you, and thank you for your flexibility.
Thank you.
And your willingness. I know I kind of twisted your arm a little bit, but thank you very much for being here with us. So I am going to continue, as I made you aware, on a theme that we've been really hammering home, trying to encourage the community out there, the small business community, to understand both the significance and importance of being certified, but also to understand that it's not a ticket to a contract. And would you address that a little bit? Talk about your experience.
Absolutely.
Since you've had, and one more qualifier. So Annette is both a 8A graduate, and I'm going to ask her an additional question about that later on, but now fully a WOSB business owner, and so she'll address both of those certifications in the conversation.
Mm-hmm. So absolutely, we're multi-certified, and the one thing I do have to say about having all these certifications is that do not expect those certifications to really get you anywhere, because you have to do the work. You have to do your marketing, you have to meet your customers, you have to develop relationships. You can't just expect that because you have these certifications that you're going to go out there and, hey, I'm going to get a contract just because I have these certifications. And I know this because this is a mistake I made when I first started business. I was able to obtain all these certifications from California, City of Los Angeles, Los Angeles County, State of California, just all these different certifications. And I would go to conferences and places, and first thing I would say was, I'm a certified woman-owned, all these different certifications that we had. And I'd get these blank stares like, okay, so you have these certifications and what do you want? So that really taught me a lesson. And it was a really good lesson to learn, because you can't just have certifications. You have to have the capability to do the work. You have to have some past performance, and again, you do have to develop those relationships.
That's beautiful. And once again, there we go. Not to beat a broken record, but we continue to talk about people doing business with people they know, like, and trust. And Annette mentioned several times the importance of building that relationship. And I want to just emphasize what we talked about a lot yesterday, that the certification itself is a door opener. Would you agree with that? And if so, what kind of doors does it open? I mean,
okay, so let me just mention, before we were awarded the 8A certification, we of course started off as woman-owned because I'm a woman. And I was going around and I was meeting a lot of different small business offices, and I was at this office in, I believe it was Virginia, and I met with a small business gentleman there He knew we were woman-owned, and I developed a little bit of a relationship with me. So when one of his counterparts needed a woman-owned small business, he called me and told me, "Can you do this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we can do this." "Okay, I want you to submit because they're lacking in woman-owned small business." And I was like, "Okay." So we put in our bid and we won. So that was something that developing the relationship got us as a woman-owned small business. So we were able to obtain a contract because I developed the relationship with this gentleman, and he passed it on to his counterpart, our information, and he got in touch with us. We got the RFP, we wrote a proposal, and we won. We were awarded. So that was a good thing. It was really, really nice.
Sweet. Congratulations.
Yes.
That's a great story.
Yes. And from that, we've gotten more work from just that past performance. After that contract ended, we actually still have work doing that same kind of service right now.
Boy, if that doesn't speak to people do business with people they know, like, and trust, I don't know what does.
That's absolutely
So again, Annette emphasized the power of that relationship. And because her relationship was so intense, if you will, so powerful, the guy felt like he almost had to do something to say, here's a way I can help you. Go for this because you got a great shot to get it.
Yep.
And it sounded like you put together the right package and you got it. So again, it's a door opener, but boy, as Annette said, you got to do the work.
Yep.
So let's talk a little bit about your 8A experience now. When you first got your 8A, as we know, that used to be called the golden nugget, right? The
Yes.
golden shell for contracting, and it's not quite like that anymore. But it's still a very, very dynamic program.
It is very good program.
And so when you started, what can you talk us through the various number of years, what you learned maybe in the segments of the years, and then how you actually used the 8A to really catapult your business?
Okay, well, again, it's about relationships, right? So what I tried to do was when we first got our 8A, or even before we obtained the 8A certification, I was marketing all over the place until I found one particular customer. I knew they were looking for 8A. I knew they had contracts out there. I did my research and noticed that a lot of these contracts they had, the 8A companies was graduating from the program, and that they were going to need another 8A. So I contacted this person, I called them, I did search letters, send them to the SBA. And by the way, the SBA is awesome. They went ahead and they submitted my search letter to the National Guard it was. And I went back and forth with this gentleman.
Can I just ask a quick question right
Sure.
there? I don't want to lose that point. So Annette mentioned search letters. So why don't you describe that process just a little bit and the importance of it?
Okay, so the search letter, what we did was we saw an opportunity. It wasn't an RFP. It was not in RFP status yet. So I was doing my own research because I knew something was coming up. So when I saw that, I said, we can do this. So the search letter is a letter you send to your business opportunity specialist at the SBA and let them know, hey, there's this opportunity here. We can do this. This is the name of the contracting officer. This is the name of the proposal number or what have you. So you give them a bunch of information. You send the search letter to the SBA. They look at it. They contact that agency and let them know, hey, there's this there's this 8A organization that is interested in doing this work. They have the capability. Here you go. We're telling you they can do it. I didn't get a call, by the way, for a little while. They did not call me, but I was like, you're going to answer me.
Way to
So
go.
I was really persistent I called the guy. He didn't call me back. I emailed him. He didn't email me back, but that was okay. I was okay with it. He has my search letter, right? And I was like, okay, as long as you have the search letter, okay. It was probably about 6 weeks later I got a call. Hey, Annette, this is, Major, whatever his name is. Can you come over here to Hawaii? I got something for you. I was like, now? He's like, yeah, the contract ends in like 2 days. I was like, okay. The next day, I was at his office in the morning before 6 a.m. in Hawaii. And I'm in California. And I was out there waiting for him. And he saw me and he goes like, who are you? I go, you told me to come here. And he's like, okay, come on in. And we literally, I'm not kidding, probably have at least 30 plus 8A sole sources with that organization alone. Because I developed the relationship. We did a good job. We got excellent ratings for the work that we did. And they continued to give us contracts.
Ha! I love those stories. Those give me goosebumps. The first thing I heard when you said that my first thought was sole source, and the 8A program has historically had the sole source capability that no other certified program has. That's since changed, but back in that day, that sole source opportunity was triggered by the search letter.
Correct.
And once the SBA gets involved and that search letter goes out to the KO, to the contracting officer, you've got a great chance. Because
Yes.
the SBA, as we learned yesterday from SBA, they are literally saying, we would like to see this company get an opportunity.
Yeah, it was great. And another contracting officer who worked there, she ended up going to a different agency in Colorado, but she remembered us. She called us for 8A sole sources where she went. So we were able to obtain, I think, 4 or 5 more 8A sole sources from that contact. We didn't even know her, but she knew the job we did based on the other contracting officer. So it was
Wow.
one word after it was word of mouth.
That is so good, so amazing. That truly is a goosebump story. So folks, if you're listening, perseverance again is a very common theme. Doing the homework, doing the research, being prepared. She arrived before the KO arrived at his office. That's also another thing. You've heard me say many times, show up looking good, acting good, and smelling good, right? And I mean, it's so important to look and be the part of your company as your company's representative. And like we were saying, I think one of the things that we've really learned repeatedly throughout the interviews is that point of persistence and showing up, looking good, acting good, smelling good, knowing your stuff. I think that's probably the most important golden nugget we could present. Annette mentioned she did all the research. And so therefore the payoff was amazing, right?
Absolutely.
And I'm so excited for you because, like I said earlier, that story gives me goosebumps. But let's move fast forward a little bit. Now we're coming to the end of the 8A program, and you're getting ready to graduate. What's going through your mind at this time? How are you preparing for that, and what are you thinking about? Because that door opener is no longer available.
Right. Well, again, it's relationships. It's relationships and still marketing your company, right? We're not going to be getting 8A sole sources, but we still have contracts that we are still working and can still have until we obtain others. So it's just learning from how to do proposals, for the 8A sole sources, and just learning as we go along, right? We have a mentor as well who's helped us a lot to get where we need to go, helped us with some proposals and other advice that we need. So I really suggest to anybody get a mentor because they're really, really helpful. But it can be difficult to transition, right? Because you're used to just mainly getting 8A sole sources. We did get some competitive ones like the WOSB that I mentioned, but now we're going to be in a whole different space. So we had to change our mentality a little bit to say, okay, we got to write these proposals. We still have to do the marketing. We still have to visit customers. We still have to do our research. So nothing really changed except we can't have the sole sources any longer. So it's different, but the whole 8A program really prepared us to what's after. So again, writing proposals, still continuing to market. There's still a lot of support that we can get outside of the 8A program. The SBA is still a really good resource. So we still use them as much as we can.
So you were able to use your market research capability that you developed and learned and really maximized when you were in 8A. Now going forward, you use it as the WOSB.
Correct.
And so that's a real point of learning, is being proactive, going after the opportunity. But I also want to, and we're going to drive this home even more, is the point of building those relationships. So I haven't ever done this before, but I think this is a great time because you've mentioned it probably more than anybody else. In building a relationship, what are some of the critical parts of building relationships with the government as compared to a commercial customer, for example?
Well, show up. Be there.
Like show up early.
Right, exactly. Show up early. You got to look good, smell good, all these things, right? Show up to events like this. Let your customers see you. Make sure that they know you're still around. Talk to them. Schedule time with them. How are we doing? Right? Just be there, and also take good care of your employees, because when you take care of your employees, the government notices, right? Your customers notice that, oh, okay, they're really here, which is why when we have contracts like in Hawaii and the Colorado one, anywhere else, we travel to make sure we meet with our customers, which is why I think we get the recommendations that we do, right? One contracting officer, even though we don't have work with them, when they go somewhere else, they know how well we did here and the performance that we had good performance, then they would call us back. I didn't even know who this person was when they called us in Colorado. They're like, yeah, I work for the National Guard and you had a contract there and I heard you did a good job and so recommended you, so here we are. So it is a lot relationships and some luck. So, but it's relationships, again, showing up, doing a good job, making sure that you stay in contact with your customer, and if there's ever anything that goes wrong, because things go wrong, right?
Sure.
There things go wrong. Nobody's contract is perfect. Make sure you take care of it. Be there. I mean, I'm 24/7. If you need any, I don't care what time. I've worked with the government and contracting officers on the weekends, on holidays, on, I mean, just any time, after hours, 11 o'clock at night, 12 o'clock at night. Make sure you're there. You know, you have to let them know you care. And that's how you develop those relationships, because they know you're going to be there.
That is so good. And what I heard and listened to there was not only the showing up, but being present when you show up, right?
Right.
Really addressing employee concerns, employee needs, government needs, you know, checking in, continuing to build that relationship with them, and that's really, really good. Okay, we got time for one more. So I want to hear this story, so I'm really excited about this. So now you segued fully into the WOSB program. Have you, and then how have you, wrestled with the fact that there could be a tendency to desire to stay small, so you keep that certification? Have you had that internal conversation, and what does that look like?
Well, we're small still. We got a little ways to go before we're large. I like the small business community. There's a lot of support in the small business community. I really like the small business community. If we ever get to a point where we get large, you know, of course, we'd like to go there. As they say, you know, go big or go home when you're at that point. But right now we are concentrating on small business, getting more work, particularly in the WSB arena. And, you know, if we go large, we go large. I'm looking forward to it.
I love that. That's so great. Optimistic about the future and what's ahead of you. And I love that and that's just embracing where she's at right now and just like enjoying the moment and saying, I'm going to get as much work as I can.
That's right.
Like you did probably at the end of your 8A, realizing, wow, the more work I get right before the end of that 9th year, you know, then that's a base +3 or base +4, whatever
That's right.
the contract was. I get to execute that for the life of the contract. So, yeah, so we do have time for one more while we're there. So, in looking for additional opportunities, would you recommend to our listening audience maybe exploring areas that are slightly out of your comfort zone or capability? Could you walk us through that conversation a little bit?
Sure.
So when the government says, hey, can you do this?
Right. As long as we have some capability, it doesn't have to be 100%, but as long as we have some capability to do the work, we actually have done work where we weren't 100%, we didn't have 100% of the capability. But we do our research, we understand the requirement. And when you understand the requirement, then you can do the work, right? For the most part, I think. And normally the customers don't come to us unless they know we have at least a little bit of capability. And I also think they're not necessarily looking for you to have 100% of the capability. They just want you to be able to have some capability and be able to keep your employees and pay them and have good systems and things of that nature.
Boy, that speaks right to here again. I always have guests that speak right here to help me out. I hope you enjoyed our interviews from Navy Gold Coast. It was a real pleasure. Annette and I have probably known each other a good 15 years, I would say. And
yes.
It's been a joy to watch her business growth and a joy to watch her mentor, who I know very well as well. And it's just something that I think if you could take everything that Annette said and clone it and do it, I can almost promise you're going to have a successful business. So thank you so much for showing
Can
up.
I say
with
one thing?
Absolutely, please.
So I want to make sure that also you understand to give back to your communities. make sure that you give back to. We do all the time. Every year, throughout the year, I'm on the board of a nonprofit organization, and we make sure that we not just give to the nonprofits, we donate our time, we'll donate goods or whatever they need, services, things like that. So I want to make sure people understand it's really, really important to give back to your community.
It's all about showing up again and not only doing something good, but teaching other people that doing something good is the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Right?
And volunteering, yes.
Yeah, volunteering
100%.
or giving or whatever
Exactly.
you're doing. Showing up, being labor for a nonprofit. That's so beautiful. That's a great point. That's the first guest we've ever had that's mentioned that part of it. But almost, if you look at every one of our successful small businesses, to a T, almost every one of them does some kind of give back. Mm-hmm. I know our company for many years supported Music Corps, which was veterans who had lost limbs, and getting involved in a music program to bring emotional healing, spiritual healing, physical healing, and then make some great music. And it was really fun. We were involved on that board for about 5 years. So it was a great experience. Thank you for bringing that up. It's very often overlooked, but boy, point well taken.
Mm-hmm. And you feel good too.
Thank you, Annette.
All right, thank you too.
All right,
it's always good to see you.
Signing off from Navy Gold Coast.